Right.
Right? Imagine that.
Yeah.
If we could all speak to each other, we all could speak one language.
Yeah, what would happen?
Well, I mean, isn't that like maybe what that Tower of Babel's all about? Sort of like a reverse engineered.
Yeah, well,
like,
it's
with like almost saying like imagine the power, the godlike power people could have if they could all openly and honestly communicate with each other freely and experience this idea that you're not my enemy because you were born over there.
right.
Like, this is nonsense. This is some crazy old shit that we should have abandoned a long time ago.
You are looking in the Bible, those stories. One thing that I just did, I'm so glad you brought this up, just for fun. One of my favorite, in the New Testament, my favorite gospel is the book of John, and the very beginning of the book of John is some of the trippiest shit you'll ever read. But I went back to that, and so I did a find and replace. Anyone can do this. It's so cool. Find and replace the word God with the programmer, and then you can start replacing words with modern day simulation theory ideas. So, when it talks about Jesus, it's like he was sent into the simulation to bring an upgrade, and those that accepted the upgrade would be children of the programmer. You start doing that, and suddenly you look at this like amazing, it gets really trippy, right? So when you talk about the Tower of Babel, and you look at it from the perspective of this is a simulation being run by some intelligent creator force, right?
Right.
So you see again and again, well, not again and again, but right now I can think of 2 times where the programmer looks at the simulation, is like, oh shit, they're about to wake up. Like the same way that Elon Musk is worried about AI becoming too powerful. In the Bible, the programmer gets really fucking uncomfortable when the simulation appears to be gaining too much power and has to like shift the programming a little bit, because there appears to be some kind of, in the mythology of the Bible, there seems to be a recurring nervousness that the programmer gets when it seems like the simulation is about to reach some certain level of power or awareness. This is in the book of Genesis. They say, they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, gained self-awareness, and there was another tree they weren't supposed to eat from, the tree of life. And the God says, it's weird because in the Quran and in the Bible, it's referred to as like the plural rather than the singular. So God doesn't, the verse is something like, if they eat from the tree of life, they will become like us, right? Not like me, like us. So there's like, we have to keep these beings somewhat curtailed, because we don't know what they're going to do if they gain too much power. That's in the mythology of the thing. And it kind of works from the simulation theory perspective. If we're a simulation that's on the precipice of a kind of singularity, which would be the simulation somehow becoming self-aware, then for whatever reason, whoever's running the show doesn't want that to happen, or hasn't wanted it to happen throughout time,
Well, it's also